The hot stove is heating up. The Boston Red Sox have been linked to pitcher Jameson Taillon of the Chicago Cubs. We'll talk all about how he can be a key addition on the Red Sox pitching staff, the Red Sox pitching staff as it stands stat-wise, and the playoff push the Red Sox have ahead of them. So thank you for joining me, everyone. I am Evan Sharrard. We're going to take a look at Jameson Taillon in just a moment. But first, please be sure to like and subscribe to make sure that you get all of the trade deadline news as we go down to the wire. That's July 30th, the trade deadline. So with that being said, let's take a look at the stats for Jameson Taillon. These are the stats for him over the last 3 years. He's played in the majors for 8 years with the Pirates, Cubs, and Yankees. But through these moments, we see that he is currently pitching with a 3.10 ERA and an ERA plus of 1.35. And what the ERA is runs per 9 innings. Anything below 4 is good. Anything below 3.5 is really good. And anything below 2 is fantastic. So Jameson Taillon has been a really good pitcher this season. We see last year he was rough with a 4.84. And like I mentioned, that 1.35 ERA plus, 100 is league average. So 135, anything over that is above average, and anything below 100 is below average. So 135 is really good. That is some of the best in baseball. He's been really good when it matters. And so, with the Red Sox adding him in, he could add to this rotation around the 4 or 3 spot, and that would really add a big boost to the Red Sox back end of this starting rotation. With Taillon here, he could, in turn, help the Red Sox make that jump past third over the Yankees and maybe even over the Orioles, as the Red Sox have been absolutely scorching hot over the past 10 games. And although they started their schedule losing to the Dodgers after the All-Star break, this team is one that can heat up at any moment. They've shown that they can really stride offensively into the postseason, but they're going to need the help pitching-wise. Now, we're going to take a look at the pitching in just a second here. But the Boston Red Sox are going to need some help, like I said, from Jameson Taillon as we get into this pitching staff. Let's take a look at some of what the Red Sox are able to do pitching-wise. So we see that's the next schedule. We'll get to that in just a second, but this is the Red Sox pitching. Right now, they are standing below the Orioles, Royals, Yankees, Guardians, and Mariners in terms of runs allowed. But when we look at that ERA plus, like I mentioned before, 100 is average. They sit tied at the top of the majors with the Kansas City Royals, a team that's just a game ahead of them in the wild card position. So, when we're thinking about that, what does that mean for the Red Sox? That means that adding Jameson Taillon would only boost their pitching unless he falls off in the second half, which it's not showing like he will, and he's a veteran pitcher who's had a track record of being a solid starter. At one point, he was nearing an ace position with the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's not that, and he won't be for the Red Sox unless some miracle happens, but as it stands, Jameson Taillon should be a very good addition to the Red Sox if they go and get him. So, when we look at that ERA plus, that means, okay, they're pitching with the best teams in baseball. So adding Taillon will make them even better than they already are. And they're going to need that coming into these next 10 games. We look at the playoff push ahead for the Boston Red Sox. And the Red Sox here are going to have to deal with some tough teams. Like I said, they've got Colorado ahead. That should be a relatively smooth. You need to win those 3 games if you're going to be a playoff ball club. So they have Tanner Houck, their ace, going against Austin Gomber. And that should be a win for the Red Sox. They play tonight at 8:40 p.m. Eastern, which is just in a few hours from where I am right now. And then they play Colorado with an undecided pitcher tomorrow. And that also goes to show why the Red Sox need a guy like Taillon, and it would be a huge pickup. They can really solidify this rotation just past the midway point of the season. They've been having guys like Cooper Criswell come in, and that just hasn't worked out for them consistently. And Taillon is a guy who can be consistent despite some injury problems. We could really see Jameson Taillon take over the middle part of the rotation for the Red Sox and really hammer down, all right, this is what we can expect from the Red Sox going forward. So when we get back to that graphic of the games that they have ahead, this is just the games that they have until the trade deadline. And you have two top AL playoff teams right now competing with the Red Sox. We got the Yankees on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this next week. And then the trade deadline hits when we are playing in Boston against Seattle. And Seattle is one of the best pitching teams in the league as well. So are the Yankees. The Yankees can slug too with Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. So we'll be seeing how that works out, and this is really going to be the key week to see, are we going to go get him? I think we will, and this is going to be a key stretch where we might need him just after this trade deadline, because these are not the only series that are tough for the rest of the road. We got a lot of AL East action, as the Major League Baseball likes it, coming down to the end of the season. We've got the rest of July here, we have August, and then September, and then it's October time. That's playoff baseball. And now, as we look at the graphics here, we get a look just before we talk about some more stuff here for the Red Sox. They have got Jameson Taillon right here coming in. He would be allowing just under 9 hits per game, which is around 1 an inning, which is a pretty good number. And you see that whip, 1.161, and what whip is basically means walks, hits, innings pitched. And what that means is your walks and hits per inning. So how many base runners are you allowing? And for those of you who might be worried, Evan, the Red Sox haven't added without subtracting in the past 3 years. This team has been horrible at actually following through with that. Well, Sam Kennedy just said on a Red Sox broadcast while speaking to Tom Caron during the pregame that resources are not going to be a problem when it comes to doing everything they want to build a championship team this year. And what I take that to mean is if the Red Sox are in position to make a playoff push, they're not going to be like, oh, we don't have the money to spend right now, which has been the big statement that a lot of people have said on social media and publicly, and that I have frankly thought as well with the Boston Red Sox down the stretch. But right now, if that is the truth that Sam Kennedy is speaking, the Red Sox are not going to be limited by the amount of payroll they have remaining, which is what the Red Sox, John Henry, their owner, wanted them to cut after the 2018 World Series championship team. One of the biggest reasons why Mookie Betts was traded to the Dodgers, as so many, and I agree, that is the worst trade that the Red Sox have ever made. And I know about Babe Ruth. Yeah, Betts had more value than Ruth would have had to this team. That trade might have killed the Red Sox hopes for the next 5 years, but then they happened to make the ALCS in 2021, and I think that this team looks really similar and frankly better than that team who shocked the world, only losing to the Astros in the American League Championship Series that season. But this Red Sox team is in a great spot to move along into one of their top positions, and what they could add really excites me, because when you have guys that are going to be coming back, and we're looking at the likes of Tanner Houck, who is currently the ace of this rotation. We have Tristan Casas coming back as well. And Rafael Devers has been playing out of his mind. He's at over 20 home runs on the season right now, and he's playing his best season of his career right now, even though most of the talk around the Red Sox is around their pitching performing really well, and around what are they going to do with the deadline? Are we going to get Jameson Taillon? Are they going to be able to sustain this success? Are they going to be able to pass the Yankees or pass the Orioles? A lot of people peg this Boston Red Sox team to finish 5th in the American League East, and right now they aren't sitting far back from 1st in the American League East. It's not going to be too much of a stretch to think that the Red Sox can win the American League, and to win that American League pennant, let alone the American League East. This Red Sox team has the offense, and it has had the offense to compete with anyone over the last 10-15 years, but right now especially, Connor Wong has broken out for the Red Sox. He's their catcher, batting over 300 right now, and there's quotes that say if you bat 3 for 10 in the major leagues, which is 300, you're going to be a surefire Hall of Famer. So Connor Wong is having one of the better hitting seasons for any catcher in the major leagues, not just the American League. And he's been a key offensive cog for the Red Sox. And they're going to be getting Tristan Casas, their star first baseman, back. And as funny as he is in the dugout interviewing Dominic Smith, I think he's better when he's on the field because he is a very disciplined hitter. And one of the keys to the Red Sox is their ability to leave runners on base. And when we looked at some of the Red Sox pitching numbers, as we get back to it here, they have left about 629 runners on base defensively, and that's exceptional. You want to leave runners on base if you're playing defense, but not if you're playing offense. And the Red Sox, before the trade deadline, led the league in runners left on base. That's not good. You got to deliver those guys. And what Tristan Casas brings to a Red Sox offense is someone who's disciplined at the plate. The Red Sox strike out more than most teams in baseball. But adding Casas, who's missed pretty much the whole first half of the season, would fill in that gap that the Red Sox currently have. Despite being one of the better offensive teams in baseball, they could be even better. And Tristan Casas could certainly provide that if he returns healthy. And he's done a good job of rehabbing his injury, staying off the field, and he hasn't re-aggravated that injury anytime recently. And I'll take you back to our graphics here. Let's just take a look at one more thing. Sam Kennedy, he said this. The resources are not going to be a problem. Tristan Casas is going to be coming back. The last few years, the Red Sox have made the comment of, well, getting Chris Sale back from his injury was really an improvement. While getting these young guys coming back who are already in our system was an improvement. The Red Sox young guys are playing. They're playing out of their minds. Ceddanne Rafaela, named by many people as the midway all-star of the Red Sox in terms of rookies. In terms of the American League, he is the best rookie right now. And although some may say that Wyatt Langford of the Rangers is better or Lucas Gill of the Yankees is, Rafaela has made a significant impact leading the Red Sox in runs batted in for the majority of the first half of the season, despite Rafael Devers playing out of his mind, one of his best seasons of his career, if not the best. And I said earlier that it is, and I think it will end that way. He's going to be closing in on 40 home runs if he keeps up this pace. But Tristan Casas coming back won't just be this only addition they have. They're going to go out and spend that money if they're in a position to win the pennant. And I think that they're gonna be. I mean, we look back at these scheduled games that they have to play. There are not many teams that stand in their way. Right now, until the trade deadline, you've got the Yankees and you've got the Mariners. We just lost that series to the Dodgers, but they showed a lot of fight. And also, we could be talking about grabbing a bullpen arm at this point because although the Red Sox have had a good bullpen, they're gonna have Justin Slayton coming back from injury. Like Sam Kennedy said, the resources are not gonna be a problem, and it's gonna be their record, if anything, that's going to prevent them from adding players right now. And they're well over 500 right now. And if they can get back on track today against Colorado, we could see them add at the deadline maybe more aggressively than a lot of people are used to. So this has been the first Red Sox Digest of the day. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm Evan Sharrard. Jameson Taillon might just be coming to the Red Sox. We'll see you next time.